Hello, Ragers. Now, I know all of my viewers are genius, playboy, billionaire philanthropists with very busy lives, but of course, us in the top 1% of society sometimes need to take a break from our high and mighty lifestyles in order to humble ourselves. For instance, we like to look down at the lower class in order to see how they're living, which is why we tap into the sneakerhead scene and fashion Instagram, just to remind ourselves that things could be worse. A lot worse. Anyway, I could go on about how the Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race, but alas, we're here to talk about cool funky custom shoe. Of course, angsty teens have always felt the need to express themselves with creative outlets. This is obviously nothing new, but with the rise of social media, special Tyler the Creator and Billie Eilish fans have felt the need to make sure the world knows that they are creative and unique by drawing pentagrams on their Vans and writing OFWGKTA in black Sharpie on them as well, and then trying to sell them on Grailed for a 30% markup despite them looking like absolute shit. Sorry for that tangent. I'm a serious man. I need to get back on track. Basically, I, as well as others, have noticed a rise in custom shoes recently. The amount of customs and bootlegs have seemingly grown exponentially over the past few years, and it all started with those gosh dang iron-on rose patches in 2017. Well, obviously bootlegs have been around for a while, like the Dapper Dan days and such, but in this video I'll be focusing on the recent evolution of custom and bootleg shoes. I'll show how we got from this to this. Then I'll go more in depth in regard to the more recent custom shoe renaissance that has been plaguing the Instagram Explore page. The FHTV research team has created an evolutionary tier list chart of sorts for these shoes and their trends, which is what I'll be going over in this video, and I'll of course talk about a little bit of some juicy gossip, tea drama too, as what is an FHTV YouTube video without mentioning the word controversy. I'll also give my take on the whole oversaturation of customs in the sneaker realm as well, so anyway, sit back, cut up your aunt's vintage Goyard bag, grab a pair of Vans old schools, and then profit off of gullible kids on the internet. Capitalism sure does breed innovation. Starting off, we have the sort of bottom of the barrel low tier, I just listened to Yonkers for the first time and need to take out my anger by drawing on my Vans type shoes. These types of customs are nothing new. People have been expressing themselves with a black Sharpie for ages, only to regret this a couple days later when they realize they've ruined their perfectly good pair of all white Air Force Ones by writing the word fuck on the side, and now they can't wear them to their private school. Jokes aside, there are some pretty cool customs that I've seen, made by some pretty talented artists who actually know what they're doing, rather than 14-year-old V-Lone thug Nathan in his parents' basement. But I feel as if these customs are sort of the starting place for people who either go on to do great creative things, or either commit to a life of crime and end up in jail for attempting to sell ketamine to minors outside of a high school. There's no real in-between here. Regardless, the takeaway here is cool art shoe good, angsty black Sharpie shoe not bad, just regrettable. Moving on, we have sort of, I guess, a step up. Kind of, it's like an evolution, only backwards. We have, of course, iron-on patches on shoes. I say that these are a step up solely because in order to iron something you need access to electricity, and an iron costs more than a Sharpie, not because these are any better. Anyway, back in 2017, these were mega popular. They were everywhere, from the local thoughts that loiter outside of Tim Hortons, my small town Canadians will get that reference, to the Instagram Explore page. You could not escape the flower patches. Also, I remember seeing a lot of snake patches as well, definitely taking dripspiration from Gucci. Regardless, thanks to Pinterest, YouTube tutorials, and outfit repost pages, iron-on patches were certainly the wave. From there, again, not really a step up, but I guess it's an advancement nonetheless, which I say very lightly. We have those like Goyard, LV, Dior, insert designer brand here, custom shoes. I remember Zapdio of FRE Customs was spearheading this wave, sort of around the same time the iron-on patches trend was all the rage. These were like the level 100 Boss shoes versus the level 2 Crook iron-on Rose Vans. Back to FRE Customs and Zapdio, he's like a poster child for custom shoes. You can see his evolution from drawn-on and embroidered stuff, to then making designer basic shoes, to now more unique customs. Furthering that, bridging the gap between these customs and bootlegs, we have someone like Vandy the Pink, who is infamous for big comfy bootleg LV print clothes that Billie Eilish has worn, but Vandy has also made custom and bootleg-esque shoes that, as I mentioned, blur the lines between custom and bootleg. Now, however, Vandy has gone a step further and hopped on the me make my own shoe trend. with the Vandy Burger dunks, which are certainly unique, and I can tell a lot of thought has gone into these and the accompanying merch and shoebox. So props to Vandy for sticking out in the current landscape of oversaturation, which is what I'll be exploring now. Again, Vandy has definitely been a standout creator in regard to the custom scene, but if you're tapped into the ever so unique and original Instagram archive page mood board subculture, then you have definitely seen the Fugazi North Korean designed High Noon Overwatch 1s. These are definitely a standout shoe, which have without a doubt inspired many other designers to put their own spin on the Jordan 1 silhouette. Just to name a few, we have the edgy 15-year-old ones from I Never Heard of You Before, the My Black Ops 2 emblem ones from Revived Senses, the I Have No Clue What These Are ones from Different Youth Official, and there is a lot more, so much more, such as Gilf Gavin, who made a pair of ones, and he has previously dabbled in the custom and bootleg scene when he released his own Bapestas, which have also served as a pretty common silhouette as well, such as Euphoric Supply's Sanix does, but I'm sure you get the point. There's a lot of customs going around right now, and it'll be interesting to see how long this trend or fad lasts. However, the most mainstream example definitely has to be from Warren Lotas. If you don't know who Big Warren is, in short, he started out as a designer making DIY shit while in his first year of college as a tribute to his uncle who passed away. Regardless, despite his humble beginnings, his Johns were so swag-filled that some celebrities such as Wiz Khalifa started taking notice. Warren went on to gain some mainstream attention via an official collab with Waka Flocka, and since he hasn't stopped growing and creating. You can find his clothes in a plethora of high-end retailers, and he's gone on to work with The Weeknd, Fear of God, and more. He's pretty well known for his custom basketball jerseys as well. But back to Cool Shoe, Warren released these custom Jason Voorhees dunks to pay homage to the movie Monday the 15th, which is turning 9 years old this year. He released these shoes on August 4th, but he had teased them on Dagram for a while. They were to be limited to 2,000 pair as well, so that Luke Smith FOMO definitely drove up the hype. Warren also hyped these Johns up a bunch by posting shit talking about how they were built from the finest Italian leather stolen from the ancient burial ground deep within the Hellmouth. However, after sucking his own dick in front of 262,000 people, it came out that you could find some very similar looking dunks on Alibaba, although obviously they have the star from the Heineken dunks. That didn't stop people from debating in the comments of Fashiondemic's post on the topic. Warren definitely hasn't been silent about this either. He's supposedly shown snippets from the design process, and has apparently made a custom sole for the shoe, hence the price point. I'll let you guys make of this what you will, but 300 customs is peak capitalism in my opinion. Regardless, Warren has gone on to release another pair based on the Juicy Stussy dunks, which was of course met with some backlash, mostly from people either upset about bots or just not understanding that things cost money. Also, not to mention, Warren has been under fire previously by people questioning the authenticity of his designs. He's been accused of stealing and copying shit in the past. There's definitely more to his story, as well as other custom and bootleg designers, but I'll save them for another time, as that isn't the main focus of this video. Regardless, what do you guys think? Do you think Warren is actually doing this for his fans like he says, or is he just milking the current dunk plus custom trend for profit? I feel as if it's a bit of both, as obviously I know bots and resellers were a big issue for him. I feel as if just creating more pairs and eliminating the sense of artificial scarcity would be a good way to go. It's just hard when someone says they're for the fans, yet they're also a business with the goal of making money. Definitely an interesting dilemma, which is obviously not exclusive to this situation, as it's often seen in many other scenarios. All in all, I guess that's pretty much it. In regard to my thoughts on this, I feel as if this is just another fad similar to the Rose Van shit, as fashion does tend to repeat itself. But whenever I think this fad will die out, someone sends me another pair of customs to check out, and with each new pair I see, I lose more and more brain cells. And as you know, as a fashion meme page admin, I'm already running low to begin with. But don't get me wrong, I'm all for creativity and making your own shit. There's definitely a sense of accomplishment that comes from making something and having people fuck with it, but nowadays, in the era of big social media, it's just hard to figure out who's genuinely invested and who's just copying and in it for the money or strictly personal gain. Of course, I say this often, but we never truly know anyone's intentions on the internet. That being said, someone link me a Taobao plug with access to clothing machines so I can make my own Johns for me and me only. Actually, I won't even wear them in order to keep the authenticity intact. Rambling aside, as I mentioned, I'm interested to know your thoughts, so feel free to share them down below. Thank you guys for the support. I'm gonna record a Q&A video as my Instagram is close to 100k, and I feel as if I should expose myself to the internet, as that's always a good idea with no repercussions. Anyway, thank you for watching. You the best. Later, Ragers.
Yo, Pierre, you wanna come out here?